mobile, we're just a little over halfway into 2020 and so many awesome games came out so far, so it's about time. Hey warriors, I'm Ben and today on Android Gamespot, we will go over my picks for the top 10 best mobile games of 2020. For this list, I'll be looking at games released during the first half of the year, and just a quick reminder before we begin, I release new videos on this channel every week, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for everything mobile gaming. Number 10. Veritas. Veritas joined the ranks of games like The Room or Agent A, a puzzle in disguise, so the gameplay here should be very familiar if you've played those games. You wander around in the environment, collecting items and clues that you need to combine one way or the other to solve puzzles so you can progress. While in many games of this genre, you would usually need to keep a notepad nearby or take screenshots just to keep track of all the clues you come across so you don't backtrack when facing a puzzle, Veritas has a great system in the form of a journal in which you can add photos you take in-game and even browse it while solving a puzzle, but where the game kind of misses its checkmark is the difficulty. This is a very challenging game, and even with its clever journal system, I often found myself scratching my head at what I'm supposed to do, even after reading the in-game hints, which makes for a somewhat frustrating experience. So 3D adventure puzzle fans, you know what to expect. Number 9. Kart Rider Rush Plus. If you've been watching my videos for some time, it's no surprise that I'm a big fan of Mario Kart Tour, and although it has its flaws, there was no other game standing in its way until now. Kart Rider Rush Plus came out earlier this year, and let me tell you, this game is big trouble for Mario and his kart racing buddies. For starters, Kart Rider Rush Plus came out as a complete package at release, meaning it had real-time multiplayer since day one on top of the other game modes like Speed Race, Story Mode or Time Trial. And unlike Mario Kart where you can't really get off track or crash, Kart Rider Rush Plus treats you like an adult, so you can crash into walls, fall off track or even drive in the wrong direction. And this brings a sense of realism to the racing game that gives winning a true feeling of achievement. The graphics are colorful and neat, karts are stylish and the character design is charming, and the microtransactions are limited to cosmetics, making it a skill-based kart racer that I highly recommend. Number 8. Little Misfortune. In Little Misfortune, cute and sweet meet strange and dark. This is an adventure game about a charming little girl who's kind of living a miserable life. Her parents are in an abusive relationship and she is clearly neglected. But Misfortune discovers a mysterious voice in her head that promises eternal happiness if she can play and win a game. Mr. Voice leads Misfortune into some dangerous territory where the dark theme of the game is heavily present, and by contrast, Misfortune is always her cheery, happy self. For example, she is in love with a fox and has an imaginary friend that only speaks Japanese. You will be exploring several areas, interacting with objects, solving puzzles, and having dialogues with the voice in your head. The art style is impressive, and the theme, although awkward, will grasp you and keep you guessing from start to finish. Number 7. Teamfight Tactics. Teamfight Tactics is Riot Games' take on the auto chess genre. The game first released in 2019 on PC and this year on mobile with cross-platform options. You face off against 7 players in real time and build a team of champions over a number of in-game rounds. Champions, which are from League of Legends, have different strengths and abilities, and you can equip and upgrade items for even more complex team compositions with one goal in mind: to be the last man standing from a pool of 8 players. The game is currently in its 3rd season and we've seen new champions added every new season, which drastically changes the gameplay and tactics across the board, and I like that as it keeps things fresh and there is never a one tactic to beat them all. Teamfight Tactics is doing most things right, and although it's one of the latest to enter the auto chess genre, it's already the best in the arena and definitely worth checking. Number 6. Respawnables Heroes. From the makers of the fantastic Respawnables, Respawnables Heroes came out in February of 2020 with one goal in mind: to be the Overwatch on mobile that we never got. The game is a third-person hero shooter where you pick from a pool of unique heroes and team up with other players in intense, high adrenaline 4v4 multiplayer matches. As I mentioned, all heroes in this game have their own unique fighting style, set of skills and special moves, so you can have a completely different gameplay experience once you switch heroes, and because of this, the game rewards teams that are balanced and work together well, and this is put into the spotlight through Invasion, a game mode that is designed to reward smart cooperation between players. Respawnables Heroes is a great hero shooter, and until we get Ace Force released, if ever, this is without a doubt the best hero shooter on mobile right now. Number 5. Legends of Runeterra. While downloading Legends of Runeterra on my phone, I couldn't help but shake the thought, here we go again with another Hearthstone clone, and once I played it, I couldn't be more wrong, and I'm happy to admit it. Legends of Runeterra is a deck builder based on the lore of League of Legends, while at the same time being its own complex deck builder, even surpassing Hearthstone in some aspects. The game lets you build a deck picking cards as well as champions to build a cross-faction synergy before facing off players in 1v1 battles. On one hand, it's a complex deck builder, but it's easy to understand, and the gameplay mechanics such as not having to wait for a turn to attack after playing a card and the ability to use the mana you saved up from earlier rounds make for some pretty dynamic battles, and hands down the best deck builder of 2020 and one of the best on mobile to date. Number 4. Dragon Raja. Dragon Raja is the go-to MMORPG if you're looking for the latest MMO released on mobile, and the game, which uses the Unreal Engine, is one of the best looking games ever to come out on mobile, all down to the details of day and night modes, weather changes, or even the grass moving with the wind. It's very well crafted. Another strength of the game are the side activities you can do, like racing cars or taking part of school dance contests. But it's worth noting that Dragon Raja is heavy on the autoplay features, which might put off many MMORPG fans, but if that doesn't sound like a bad thing to you, go ahead and jump right in, as the story is decent and there is a good amount of fun to be had. Number 3. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Along with Super Metroid, Castlevania Symphony of the Night defined the entire subgenre of Metroidvania games, a genre that is still replicated today and in great style with games like Icy and Grim Valor, which comes to mind. All that out of the way, I'm happy to say that Konami has done a great job porting this classic to mobile. Both the Android and iOS versions are priced at a reasonable $2.99, and for that, you're getting a game with a high level of detail that still looks great and plays great as well. The castle where the levels take place is massive. There are voice dialogues and the writing is top notch. The combat is also decent, and the game, although challenging, never crosses the frustrating mark. Plus, the new instant continue feature is great, and the new achievement add replayability to a game that already has great replay value. Castlevania Symphony of the Night has gamepad support, and it is simply one of the best games on mobile in 2020, period. Number 2. Guardian Tales. Fans of retro JRPGs and gacha games like myself, you're gonna absolutely love Guardian Tales. The anime visuals are adorable, and the story is all very old school and typical of a JRPG. You are an underdog that needs to save the world, and I won't spoil any more of it for you guys because it's decent and definitely worth discovering on your own. During the first few hours of playing Guardian Tales, I had a very pleasant experience playing through the first world, but once I cleared it, I was once again pleasantly surprised by the main menu that completely changed, and all of a sudden I was building my own town with bakeries, cafes, and other fun spots where your party can hang out. The cast is fun, charming and hilarious at times, and it's clear that the game doesn't take itself too seriously. The gacha part in Guardian Tales is also enjoyable, as the animation reminds me of those toy vending machines you can play in Japan or Asia for the most part. I'm honestly surprised that Guardian Tales is a free-to-play game, as this is a high-quality game with a lot of attention to details, the levels aren't repetitive, there is a ton of content, and it's loads of fun to play. Highly recommend this one. And before we check out the champion, if you like this video, I want to invite you all to check out the bonus part 2 with even more awesome games from 2020 that I think you will definitely enjoy. That, and you get to support the channel. Part 2 is available now on the Android Gamespot YouTube members page and Patreon. Number 1. Dead Cells. Dead Cells is a Metroidvania action platformer with a roguelite aspect that came out on Android this year following a 2019 iOS release. The game lets you explore an ever-changing castle if you can survive the monsters in it. Everything about Dead Cells is fast and pushing you to go even faster. The music, the animations, the enemies walking around, bursting from the ground or falling down from the ceiling, you get it. The action is fast-paced and intense with the constant permadeath threat hovering over your head. The progression is non-linear as you can take different paths with every death, and the game mechanics are very much like the Dark Souls games, so when you die, you restart from the first level and lose all of your weapons and health you gain except for the upgrades. You also need to learn the patterns and behavior of monsters and bosses in order to defeat them, as Dead Cells is definitely challenging and unforgiving, but also incredibly rewarding when it finally clicks and you kill that boss that's been taking you down over and over. All this packaged in some awesome 2D visuals and an amazing soundtrack, tons of replay value and controller support as I played through the game with my DualShock 4, and it was breezy. For all these reasons and many more, Dead Cells is my pick for the best mobile game of the first half of 2020, but will it keep the crown? 2020 is far from over and only time will tell. And that sums up my picks for 10 of the best mobile games out in 2020, and I'm wondering, what is your top 3 games of the year so far? Let's continue the discussion in the comment section down below. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, your likes are a huge help and subscribing is a good idea if you haven't yet, as I pump out new videos like this every week. Also, special thanks to my Patreon supporters and YouTube members, and if you also want to support the channel, you can sign up for membership on Patreon or YouTube for as little as $1 and get access to exclusive bonus videos, private Discord chat, giveaways, or your name right here. So head over to patreon.com/AndroidGamespot or check out the links in the description below. Once again, I'm Ben, thank you warriors for watching, and I'll see you next time, right here on Android Gamespot. Stay epic!